Hey everybody, we're continuing where I left off last time, and yes, I will get to the roasting soon. We're back to just normal view because it's still experimental with the other one. I finger pokey, so I don't want to worry you guys too much with showing you my background and such. So, going over the structure decks and such, because this is where my main focus is. My issue with how Konami structures its structure decks is thus. And I'm going to use the estranged child for this, right? I currently have 6 copies. No, not 6. 9. 6? No, I was right. 6. 6 copies of Salman Great Heat Leo. None of them are flossy. None of them are royal flossy. It's just 6 copies, right? Now, 2 fire effect monsters. Okay, generic. 2 plus fire effect monsters. Okay, generic enough for a Link 3, right? 23,000 attack 2. If this card's Link Psychic, you target 1 card in your opponent's spell and trap zone, shuffle it into the deck. And a back removal. Perfect. Sounds like a good Link 3, Link Ladder card, right? Once per turn during your main phase, if this card was Link Summon, using a Salman Great Heat Leo as material, so again, you would want to have another copy of this, makes sense where you would put 2 in, but unless this card is used specifically in a Salman Great deck, or in a deck that runs multiple copies of this, why did you give me 2? His first effect is already good enough. And yes, you want to recycle him, we understand that, Konami, but in its place, you couldn't give me something that like if there was a card similar to it that calls itself Heat Leo, you know. And I might be being a little bit harsh on this, but I want to point out kind of the strangeness of it all, right? And I want to point out the specific cards. Now, of course, if I'm getting a deck box, I know what I'm getting. I'm getting cards for that deck specifically, right? So again, the Salman Greats are Cyberse archetypes, so that's why I'm getting Cyberse cards. It makes sense, right? But look at the SRs that they give us. Prohibit Snake, right? Start of the damage step, if a Cyberse Link monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, return that opponent's monster to the hand. Decent bounce effect. Good for many Cyberse decks, right? A Cyberse monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends its graveyard while this card's in your graveyard. You can banish 1 card from your graveyard and target 1 level 4 lower Cyberse monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So you can literally send it away and then use it again. But it's a niche thing. But maybe I'm being unfair because we should have more generic-ish support. Well, that's why I praise Immortal Glory. Immortal Glory, its focus is basically on these 3, right? Immortal Dragon, who can keep coming back. Felgrand, who is really good at... Well, basically... Yeah, he can just keep negating things, so he's good at negate. And then Dragon Lord, who can keep flooding the field. Right? Really strong. What do I like about this deck? Unizombie. Unizombie is fantastic generic zombie support. If you put this in your zombie deck, you want 3 copies of this in your zombie deck. Not just that, but they also gave us Mezuki, another fantastic generic zombie support, Gozuki, another fantastic generic zombie support, and Glow Up Bloom. Like, mwah! Beautiful, fantastic, amazing, I love it. So, why do I tout this as being the best one you can get? Because it's not focused around an archetype, it allows the Konami to be free to do what they want. Now, granted, it is a bit archetype-y, because we're focused around Zombie World. That's where Red Eyes Necro Dragon works, that's where Skeletal Felgrand works, that's where Dragon Lord works. You know, they all work best in a Zombie World deck because that's what they do. On top of that, you can remove some cards and splash in things like vampires, who love using zombies to their advantage. You could splash in Eldritch, who can make use of all the zombie support. You could splash in Vendreads, because you know it's a HeroicLegend video, so you know I'm going to mention the Vendreads at least once because I love them. It works so well with so many things that it's kind of shocking that they would make a deck like this and basically just give away these cards, because you'd have to craft Unizombie and Zombie World and Banshee if you wanted to get them. Now you get 3 copies for 1,500. You don't even have to try for the pack that they're in anymore. And originally, it's a specific card in here. Jiangxi was originally an exclusive card to this. If you did not get this, you could not get this card. I believe the Blackwings still have this on their cards. They do, right? So, again, you can't get Sharnga, you can't get Vata. I believe they are... That's what's been happening constantly, and yes, I've considered gnawing out my own wrist, but I'll save that for later. A lot of these cards... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? All those are strictly as part of this deck. There's a reason to get the deck. However, I would not want to craft 3 copies of Gale the Whirlwind. Just being real. I would try to make a deck without Gale. Surgery? Once again, fantastic card. I don't know if I would want to go through the stress of having to craft 3 copies of it. That's 90 UR Dust. To give a good example of what UR Dust looks like, this is UR Dust. Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Red Eyes. I can't count these cards because... Or these. Dystopia. Right? These are URs. You know, even... Now, my big issue... Interesting. My big issue with how Konami does these decks is that, while I am very, very grateful that both Legacy Pack and decks that you get from the game and buy cannot be dusted. That means, should someone hack your account, and I stress this because it's happened to Jamer, the worst thing that can happen to your account is someone gets into it and then dusts all your hard work and then crafts garbage with it. What do I mean by garbage? They could just literally continuously craft something that is a horrible UR that shouldn't be a UR. I'm trying to look at what's a good example here. Rainbow Dragon. Rainbow Dragon does not work in any... Okay, maybe that's a bad example because it does work. Oh, no. Perfect. Earthbound Immortals. Earthbound Immortal, Chaku... Chaku... Earthbound Immortal, Asilla Pistu. Please don't judge me. It's hard. Why in the ever-loving hell would I play this card for my deck when I can just as easily make a card similar to it and I get even better results? Oh, but it can attack directly with 2500. So? Oh, but if it leaves the field not by its own effect, I can destroy as many face-up monsters as your opponent controls, and if you do inflict 800, okay, so the max damage I can inflict upon my opponent, 5 times 8 is what? 40. I hope I got that right. So, 40,000, or if my opponent has a full field. 45, no wait. 48 if they have something in the extra deck zone. And that's assuming that, you know, it goes through effects. Because remember, some of these guys are unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. So a Blackwing, I forget his name, but everyone got him for free. Where is he? Right here. A Blackwing full armor master would just be like, lol, okay. But for that Earthbound Immortal, you get basically, if they have a full field, right? You could potentially win the game. But I have a question. If I remember correctly, I believe it said if this face-up card leaves the field, okay, so any effect, right? Raigeki, which it has no protections against, Lightning Storm, which it has no protection against, all that stuff. But you know what this card is? It's a turn 2 card that has no protections. You can't. People can stop it summoning, so it never hits the field. Solemn Judgment, etc. Yes, it can be bought back by Monster Reborn and such, but all your opponent has to do is make sure you don't have a field spell. Oh, correct. There's no face-up field spell on the field, so maybe a Valiance deck can do this. But guess what? Valiance is not a structure deck. So if you went through the trouble of making an Earthbound Valiance deck, and someone dusted everything and just kept making copies of this one card, and then dusted those until you only had the one left, and then dusted that too just because people are malicious like that, it will happen. You have nothing. So yes, I am thankful that there are cards that you cannot dismantle. Right? But my problem is, what do we do when we get duplicates? You can't lock us out from getting more of them, because that, again, it'd be a little bit hard to do, because that's not fair. What if I got a Royal Flossy version of this? The game doesn't know that it's Royal or Flossy before it unlocks it. Maybe. I don't know how that works. A data miner would have to tell me. But my issue is, Konami gives us all these cards, but there's not enough genericness to them, and that's the problem. When you make structure... Okay, I'm going to use my Kashtira's. So in my Kashtira deck, I have Kurikara, I have Ash Blossom, I have Ball, Obelisk, Kaiju, Lava. I have Forbidden, 2 Imperms, 2 Called Bys, 1 triple Talent, 1 triple Thrust, 1 Harpies, 1 Raigeki. I have 1 Big Eye, I have 1 Red Eyes Flare, I have Zeus, I have Phoenix, IP, Unicorn, Black Luster, Borland, and Goddess. The point of these decks is to have something to work with. But the goal is for you to spend not just the 1,500 to get 3 copies, but to spend 2,500 to get the copies and pull for things you might want to help improve the deck. And even if you don't pull what you want, you can always dust what you don't want and then proceed to basically, like, craft what you need, right? That's also why in the Battle Pass, if I can very quickly show that off, they give you, on the normal one, so 3, 3, 6, 6, 9, 9, 15, 12, 18, 15, 21, 21, 24, 24, 30, 30. They give you exactly 1 UR and 1 SR from the original vanilla. Wait. They give you that just on the normal battle pass. Of course, you get a lot extra for, you know, for the premium upgrade, right? But here's the kicker. That's still not enough to make a very good deck. Now, this brings me back to the original point of these past 2 videos, which was roasting this. I bought this deck was a gift, right? And on it we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 cards that Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel considers you are. Now, I'm gonna go real quickly to Yu-Gi-Oh card prices, right? No, Yu-Gi-Oh card rarity guide. Now, there are some cards I see here that have reasons to have like certain rarities to them, right? Now, again, rarity goes based off of foil, I believe, for the TCG. But I'm going to look up Albaz. There's a whole guide and stuff explaining it, especially, but like, rarity is different in the TCG, obviously. But on the OCG, it's very different. Again, you know what, looking at the price is actually the best way to think of these things. So I'm going to look up two cards that I'm actually curious about. I'm going to look up Dogmatica the Knighted. Okay. So Fleur de Lis has a current price of 25 near mint. 25 cents. Not even dollars. Cents. Now, I'm going to then look up Ash Blossom. Sorry. Ash Blossom is currently $2. Correction, $3. In fact, the cheapest I see it right now is $2.99. The highest so far is $50 for Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I want to point this out to you. 25 cents for a card that has literally body decks when it comes out because of how strong it can be, right? Because of its ability to legitimately just say, hey, you're negated. And then boost your monsters with a permanent 500 plus. And that's once per turn too, which means my turn's over, your turn, hey, guess what? Negated. Well, provided I had another copy in hand, right? But the point is, I could run 3 copies IRL of Dogmatica Fleur the Knighted and not break bank. But if I wanted to run 3 copies of Ash Blossom and those first 2 $3 ones went out, guess who's not running 3 copies of Ash Blossom? Meanwhile, I'm going to look up Effect Veiler next. Perhaps I should have done this the other recording style. 39 cents. Highest I'm seeing is $8. And that's for one specific version, right? Now, mind you, you could just buy the decks, yes, that feature these cards. But my big issue is, according to you, the massive discrepancy between TCG and OCG is basically what the prices are, right? And they do this in a lot of card game card games that are both TCG and OCG. In MTG Arena, I can 100% knock out like getting a bunch. They literally give you wild cards, so you can turn any card that you want to. You can turn any wild card that you want to into a copy of a card that you need. Mind you, you would need 4, so that's 1 extra card. That is another 30 dust if you want to put in Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, right? So 4 rare wild cards equals 4 copies of a card in my deck, like that. But again, the big problem that I'm seeing here between the TCG and the OCG is also what we have as support. If this was an Albaz deck made for Master Duel, I need to literally open up a whole new one. So I'm going to just use this, right? So again, using Master Duel's same properties, I'm going to look up Albaz. I spelled the name wrong! Okay. So remember, we can only have 1 copy. And if I bring up my notes... Who are you? Oh, right. Aluber's other version. I'm going to be fair and say that Albaz is at least a 13 SR and a 6 UR, right? Okay. Albaz. Albaz would probably get... Looking at the cards related to him, I'm going to say 1, 1, 1... what do you do? Trying to think actually right now. You go in. Boop, 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 boop. And I think it's about the 5 I would have figured. Boop. 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Trying to think here. It's very hard. Oh, wait. Hey, you know what? We'll actually knock down 1 for this, too. Right? So, this is all you would get from the URs and the SRs in an Albaz deck. Right? And then they would have to fill it with generic things. So, again... These are all cards related to Albaz, by the way, so I'm not cheating you out on anything here. I could see them doing one of that. Definitely would put in one of these. One of these. Yeah, one of these too. One of these. One of these. One of these. One of these, one of these, one of these. One of these, and one of these. Right? And then, as some more generic filler, he still counts for our SR1, so I'll happily put him in. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. Yep. And again, I'm still not even close to done. Like, I have 11 cards left, but because of how strict sometimes I feel the Master Duel deck crafting is for the structure decks they give us here, how would they fill in the space? This is already hard enough to do as just a dude, and I'm trying my hardest to obey my own rules and for deck fulfillment. It's weird. It's just weird to me. I don't know why I even went on this rant, but like, I always get a little bit frustrated when I see a deck come out, because I look at the deck and then I ask myself, not, you know, what do I... am I going to play this deck? No, I say, what can I remove? What can I strip from this deck to make it a million times better? And I kind of don't like that. I should just be able to use what I get from the deck and thrive with that, right? But again, you can tell when someone has picked up a structure deck. A lot of what the bot programs that people get to level up accounts to then sell those accounts do is they'll pick whatever deck has the best SRs and URs that can, like, or they'll just pick whatever's a good deck. A lot of what they do is they're gonna go to the simplest one, right? Which is Dark Magician. Not Dark Magician. Vortex of Magic, right? They're going to go to Vortex of Magic, they're going to buy 3 copies of it, and then just shove in the cards that are supposed to make it good, and take out the cards that they don't care about, right? The Chaos form, gone. Dark Magic Wind Burst, gone. Dark Burning Attack, gone. They might leave in a Dark Magic or 1,000 Knives, but it's whatever. They're going to boost up 3 copies of Eternal Soul, 3 copies of Dark Magic Circle. And what's worse is, players also do this. It is... I don't know. Maybe I'm just ranting to the air because it's been a frustrating day. Maybe I'm just, like, confused as to why this is the way it is. Maybe someone out there will explain it to me. I don't know. But for me right now, it does get a little bit frustrating when I see a new deck comes out, because I don't think to myself, oh boy, something I can use. I think to myself, oh goody, I have to spend 1,500 gems to get something I'm not going to care about entirely, because maybe I'll be happy when I'm building a different deck that I want to build, and I'm like, oh, I have 3 copies of this now. When I get this, oh, it was part of a thing. Cool. Instead of, yeah, these are just going to sit in my inventory for a while. Doing nothing. Maybe it'll be good when an event comes out. Maybe they won't. Just a weird nerd's thoughts on things. I don't know. Again, the vast difference between UR and actual prices boggles my mind sometimes. But that's just me ranting into the wind again. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you liked it, you know what to do. Much appreciated if you do. And until next time, I just want to say, laters.